Podcasting from the bowels of the Citadel, it's the DigiGods. And now, please welcome two men who definitely aren't war boys, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
There we go. Corey, who was that?
That was sent in by Kevin Lower, who lives just off Fury Road on Anger Avenue.
That's a cute little quippy pun or something. Mark, welcome back again.
Welcome back again. Thank you.
Again, yeah. Tim had a good time filling in last time.
Tim is always the man.
He is.
By the way, I'm looking to see who gave Ben-Hur a positive review.
Are you in a mood to explain to people why you had a sudden absence?
I had a lady friend.
Oh.
And this lady friend is a very special lady friend.
There we go.
And she's special for a very exciting reason. She lives 5,000 miles away in freaking France.
And she teleported in.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Now, we have a friend of ours who's a working screenwriter.
Yes.
What he does for a living. Mm-hmm. And he's in a long-distance relationship.
He is, yeah. He's working the Italian angle.
Yes, he's working the Italian angle. And I have to commiserate with him because I am now working the French angle.
Yeah.
And so we had a great. We went to where did we go? I took it to the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, nice.
We saw Jeff Beck and Buddy Guy. What?
No,
she was into it. No, she was into
sure.
It.
Well, obviously, I know that. It's just if when you say to somebody, I went to the Hollywood Bowl, and you start thinking, I wonder who'd you see? And when you say Jeff Beck and Buddy Guy, that is the most Hollywood. That is a marquee Hollywood Bowl performance right there. That's why I expected the Hollywood Bowl.
No. Here's the thing. She was only in town for a week.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take her to some place she's never been, which would be the Hollywood Bowl.
Sure.
So I'm looking at, mostly Mozart and the Brahms concerto, who gives a crap, all that sort of whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then I see Jeff Beck and Buddy Guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's gauge her coolness.
Excellent.
Does she know who Jeff Beck and Buddy Guy even are, let alone wants to see them?
Sure.
So I gave her the choice. Would you like to see mostly crap art? Or Brahms' concerto number, who gives a crap?
We're going to talk about some classical today, by the way.
You're talking about it. I'm talking about Jeff Beck and Buddy Guy. So I give her the choice, and you know what? She was all about the Jeff Beck and Buddy Guy.
Of course.
She's cool.
So on the industry front, lots of things have happened. First of all, Ben-Hur tanking, as everyone with a brain knew that it would, except for the people who spent $100 million on it, which is a mystery to me.
I want the person who greenlit Ben-Hur and the person who greenlit Tarzan to get in a room together and
kill each other. Yeah. But honestly, truly, but when they announced Ben-Hur remake, I thought, okay, maybe. And then I heard, what's his face wrote the script. It was like a spec script by the guy that wrote The Long Way, the last Peter Weir film, which was terrific. Even though it made no money. And I thought, okay, I'm a little bit on it. And then they're like, and we've got Timur Bekmambetov directing. I was like, that's it. Done. Finished. It's over. It's a piece of junk. Why would you do that? Why would you hire him to direct? It just makes no sense. The guy who did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, that's our Ben-Hur director. Come on.
Here's what they want. They want it to be they want to pretend it's a faith-based movie when really it's a CGI movie.
Yeah, they're thinking Chariot Race CGI. We want the guy who did the Russian Wanted. We want Chariot Race done Wanted style.
And we'll throw a little Jesus in there so that the faith-based people might go see it. By the way, that tower of Blu-rays is about to fall down.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to shake the table till it does.
And so in other news, Ryan Kavanaugh and
Brett
Ratner getting into a Twitter war, which I think is hysterical.
You know what's funny is that
it's so funny.
And you'll never hear me.
Did you like Ryan Kavanaugh? Did you read the reason? It's not that Ratner did anything to Kavanaugh. It's just that Kavanaugh, people kept telling him Brett Ratner stories. Like, I heard Brett Ratner did this, and I heard he did this. And at a certain point, someone finally told him another Brett Ratner story that was apparently so vile and so disgusting, he couldn't handle it anymore. And he whips out the phone and just rips out a tweet storm, just tearing up on Brett Ratner because he's too disgusted. He can't control it anymore. This is where we've come. We're multi-million-dollar moguls develop like moral anxiety about some cohort in the industry, and the only way that they can unleash it's not the couch trip anymore. You just flame away on Twitter at the person.
The sad part is that Brett Ratner's career has taken a bit of a positive turn.
Yeah, well, look,
Rat Pack is terrific.
It's look, if he just stops directing and continues to be a financing mogul, I am totally cool with that because Rat Pack is financing some amazing movies.
Yeah.
I mean, if it weren't for Rat Pack, we wouldn't have an awful lot. I mean, between Rat Pack and Megan Ellison, that's kind of the only thing keeping good movies afloat.
That is true.
Frankly. And then also the anonymous letter to Kevin Sujihara.
Yeah, but no one really knows if that was...
That's pretty intense, though. It's making
Oh, it's
the rounds.
intense, but we don't know whether it's an actual thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
No, you want it to be as well.
And then, of course, Suicide Squad, related to that Suicide Squad tanking. Which
It's not, I see. I here's the thing: as much as I would love to see it tank, I'm not really. I'm not convinced it's tanking.
Well, it's made $500 million around the globe so far.
Yes, it's
So
well. Here's the thing: as of this recording, it's got a cumulative of $248 million.
Yeah.
Now, we still a couple days before this podcast gets posted, but it's hard to say it's tanking. As much as I would love to see it tank.
Yeah.
By the way, can I throw out some Blu-ray news?
Go ahead, hit us. I got some listener mail, and then we'll dive into.
Oh, there's
everything
ice
else.
cream too.
Oh yeah. Good.
Wait, it's a very special day.
See, Tim doesn't cook for me.
No.
He doesn't bake for me.
He does not.
He doesn't freeze for me or whatever it's called when you do ice cream.
Well, this is a very special day.
Why?
I'm going to give you the rare flavor of ice cream that did not turn out well.
Oh, that's nice.
It is a maple syrup and walnut ice cream.
So garbage disposal, Wade. Garbage disposal, Wade.
It's one and the
Wade.
same.
Yeah.
We got some Blu-ray news.
Yes.
Should we do Blu-ray news now, viewer mail now, or talk about Blu-rays now? Which should we do now?
We could do viewer mail, but we don't really ever get viewer mail. We get listener mail.
I know. I wish we would get some Vox boxes. Why not?
Yeah, Vox boxes. Gods? No.
Yeah.
Gods at DigiGods.com. Gods at DigiGods.com for the listener mail, the viewer mail, a Vox boxes, whatever you want. You could even send us, dirty pictures.
All right,
or
so listener
mean
mail.
insults. I don't care.
Blu-ray reviews or
Hit the
Blu-ray news.
Blu-ray, do the news thing. Hit that.
Well, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Marx Brothers finally starting to hit the Blu-ray. It's about time. Marx Brothers Silver Screen Blu-ray Collection, already on pre-order, personally.
About time.
October 18th. Now, I know what you're saying.
Booyah.
What are the films?
Yeah.
Are they all of their classics?
Well,
the answer, of course, is no.
No.
We have the Coconuts, which is their debut.
Yeah.
I mean, it has Margaret Dumont, and she's got...
It's okay. It's it's testing the waters. Oh my!
Is that my phone?
That's the bat phone.
That's not my phone. Don't stop the recording.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Animal Crackers, Monkey Business, Horse Feathers, and of course, Duck Soup. Now, if you're a Marx Brothers fanatic,
No Night at the Opera.
no Night at the Opera.
Ah.
Nobody's being pushed into a thing on the boat where everybody throws in the boat.
Night at the Opera. Truly, the biggest laugh I've ever gotten in a Marx Brothers movie. I laugh just thinking about it. Is at the opera house near the end when Harpo grabs that guy's violin or viola and uses it like a baseball bat. It's the funniest thing. In the world.
Now, there's not a lot of extras on these things, but there are a couple of audio commentaries by people we know.
Yeah.
Horse Feathers has a
Yep.
commentary by FX Feeney. Very
Bravo.
excited about that. Yep.
Sweet.
Love FX. And then Duck Soup has a commentary by one of the only film critics who gave Ben-Hur a positive review,
Nice.
Leonard Maltin. Leonard Maltin gave it. Anyway, so I'm very excited about that. I'm a
That's
huge
great.
Marx Brothers fan. We also have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 15th anniversary 4K Blu-ray edition.
Yeah.
Does it hold up? I have not seen it in a long time. I bet it does. Criterion, November titles. Here they are. Wade, you ready?
Ready?
Now, this is the one you're excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah. Totally.
Aren't you a
The
big Lone
complete
Wolf
the
and Cub?
complete Lone Wolf and Cub. Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Punch Drunk Love,
Yep.
which I saw at Cannes, which is
Yep.
in 2002, which is great.
Yep.
Adam Sandler, the only performance he's technically ever given.
Yep.
Kira Kurosawa's Dreams, good stuff.
Yep.
Squid and the Whale, by the way, great film.
Yeah,
Squid,
not a fan. Not a fan.
As a child of divorce of that era, now I was not living in Park Slope, although I would have loved to have lived in Park Slope. It's a beautiful area. As a child of divorce of that era, I am telling you, Squid and the Whale, almost autobiographical. It's a great film.
Yep.
And One Eye Jacks. One Eye Jacks, by the way, original director of One Eye Jacks. Wait, who was it?
Rafelson.
Stanley Kubrick.
Bob Rafelson. Yeah.
Anyway, One Eye Jacks with Marlon Brando. That's good stuff.
Yep.
So there you go. that is Criterion for November. I don't like that they announce them too far in advance because then I get all excited and I got to wait 5 months.
Yeah, I know. That's how it is.
So wait, here's what we should do.
Okay, I'm going to read. Shall I read some stuff now?
Well, we haven't talked about any Blu-rays yet.
I know.
Would you like ice cream? Would you like bad ice cream now or bad ice cream later?
Now.
Okay.
Let me hit a couple of these thingies. First of all, we got email from our good friend Al in San Francisco because I had praised a film some weeks ago for a certain quality of magical realism. He said, I thought Wade and magical realism are like oil and water. And I explained to him usually, but there are some stylistic exceptions, namely because it's not the device per se that I have a problem with as much as it is the when they use it as like a narrative shortcut and, just, hey, look, magical things happen. If you aren't sort of using the magical realism invocation as an excuse to just bypass having to explain something, I can usually get around it.
You want to know who has used magical realism the best?
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
Woody Allen.
I was just going to say that. Right?
Purple Rose of Cairo.
Totally.
And Midnight in Paris.
And not even just Midnight in Paris, but
Purple Rose of Cairo.
But no, not even just those
Midnight
two.
in Paris. What are you are dinging and ringing and buzzing. What are you doing?
It's our friend Nadeem, and Nadeem's trying to get a hold of me, and
Oh wait, is Nadeem the guy who invented the pizza box that folds into a little tiny square?
That's it. That's the
oh
one.
God damn, you guys, you don't even know.
I know.
He invented a pizza box. Like an actual pizza box.
EcoFold. Ecofold.com. You'll find out all about it.
It is just as strong. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, it is not.
Ecofold.com.
Oh, I'm there right now.
Go to ecofold.com.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
This thing, I have seen this thing in action. This is a pizza box that is just as strong as any other pizza box you'll ever see in your life, and it folds into a square about the size of a DVD.
Yep. It's fantastic.
Wait, I'm on EcoFold. There's nothing there. ECO?
ECO-fold.
Ah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then we also got a rather lengthy email from Frank L. And went into some very interesting things. I won't get into all of the stuff he asked, but he was asking generally, mostly about Suicide Squad. And
there is nothing on the pizza box. There's nothing about the pizza box on this website.
Okay.
Ecofold.com.
Ecofold.
I mean, it says, we think about, design, and create simple solutions that help the world recycle without effort.
Okay.
I guess part of that is I'm showing it to Wade right now. This is all this. That's the whole site. But he has a pizza box that folds into.
Okay.
It's the thing's freaking magic.
It's genius.
It kills me every day of my life that Domino's or
will not buy into
Pizza
it.
Jack or one of these big chains. They have look. If they paid him a penny
per box, I know
he'd be a quadrillionaire.
I know
it would change the industry.
I know it would.
And whoever does it would be seen as being on the forefront of green initiatives. And all.
I know.
It just kills me.
It kills it. Believe me.
You know why? Because they don't want to pay him. They want to try to figure out a proprietary way to do it themselves.
Yeah, they're idiots. So why are we talking about? Yeah, well, fair enough.
Oh, wait, you wanted ice cream?
Yeah. So anyway, Frank L. Before we get into the reviewing stuff, he asked specifically about why people say that Suicide Squad, which had a negative cost of 175 some million, needs to allegedly make $800 million to break even. And I that's always a good question. I'm always glad when people ask that question. So it's worth pointing out for those who may be listening. I want to emphasize this. This is why. This is how the economics of studio movies work. If a movie costs $100 million, assume that they're going to spend at least $100 million marketing. So your negative cost is $200 million plus, because most of that is borrowed. They don't actually have that cash sitting around. They borrow it. They get a credit line. They borrow it from the bank. So there's interest accruing for at least a year and a half, during which the time they're spending this money. So it's $200 million plus some kind of interest, which will usually come out to be like $210, $215 million. The money you make at the box office, you only get half of it. The other half generally goes to theaters, depending on the split. The splits are different. No one ever knows what the split actually is, and it kind of shifts. It's a floating split. Like on the first weekend, the studio will get 80%. Second weekend, they'll get 75%, and it eventually goes down to where nobody's going to see the movie, but the theaters actually collect 80% of the box office of like two people buying a ticket. So, on balance, globally, you can assume that studios take roughly half, maybe a little more than half, but roughly half. That's a good estimate. So if your negative cost is now $200 million plus, and a movie makes, say, $800 million, you get $400 million back Out of that 400 million, there are a lot of profit participants, a lot of people taking pieces, gross participants who get, 10, 15, 20% of the original of the gross take. Eventually, after all the points have been taken out and the pension, health, and welfare and all the rest of it goes, you are left with money that is going to pay back your 200 million some negative cost, which by then is about 225. And that's why a movie that costs $100 and some million needs to make about 800 and some million in order to break even. It's an ugly business, but that's the way it works.
No, wait, no, you got into profit participation,
all
dollar
of that
stuff?
Yes, I got into all that stuff.
Okay. All right, I'm letting you know. Mm-hmm. This is a rare ice cream fail. Mm-hmm. It is a maple syrup and walnut ice cream.
It's good.
But by the way, it's not totally frozen yet. I just made it. A little bit soupy. Mm-hmm. But you're here now, so I'm giving it to you now.
Yeah, it's good.
Really?
Yeah.
You would tell me if it was bad. Would you tell me if it was bad?
It's a little icy.
Yeah.
It's a little icy. Not creamy
enough.
It's
not creamy, right.
Right. Yeah.
Now, it might get, as it sits for overnight, it might get a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
The flavors might get a little bit more intense as it rests a little bit, but.
Could I persuade you
I would consider
to do a key lime pie ice cream? I would buy some off you.
Let me see. Key lime pie ice cream.
You know what? I'm going to hit some foreign language films first. How about that? Well, you're looking that up.
There is key lime pie ice cream.
I know it is.
Right now.
I know. It's good stuff. All right, I'm going to go through some foreign language films real quickly. Wondrous Boccaccio. That's Boccaccio with two pairs of two C's. This is from Film Movement. The Taviani brothers. If you know the Taviani brothers, they're kind of the original brother filmmaking team before there were Coens or the Duffers or whoever else. I mean, so many.
I watched the second episode of Stranger Things.
It's good.
Sure. It's good.
Finish watching it. Everyone else has.
Have you finished watching it?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
It's good.
Oh, yeah. Kicks booty.
Ja.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So the Tavianis make wonderful movies. They're getting older in the tooth now, but they still make really, really decent movies. It's a little slow. It's a little long, but Wondrous Boccaccio has a lot of their sort of trademark stuff. Now, this is based on the Decameron by Boccaccio. So it is a literary adaptation with a lot of their unique flares and flourishes, but it's just quintessentially them. And if you understand their sort of delicate humanistic way of telling stories, absolutely worth checking out. That comes with a bonus short film called Ground Floor by Asya Eisen of Israel, which is very, very sweet. We also have Zhang Yang, the great Chinese filmmaker of the sixth generation, Paths of the Soul, A Journey into Humanity and Faith. I've interviewed Zhang Yang, fascinating guy, really interesting. He's kind of fallen a little bit out of the scene of late. He made a wonderful movie years ago called Shower. People remember that, about an old bath complex in Beijing, and about modernity kind of consuming classic Chinese culture, and the rift between generations. Fascinating guy, really interesting filmmaker. Anyway, this is about a group of Tibetans who make this kind of this fascinating kind of pilgrimage where they basically journey over 1,000 miles and they bow the whole way. It's just a grueling ritual, but it is. It becomes a really, really, I mean, I hate to use all the cliche Buddhist words like Zen and existential, but it's exactly what it is. And what you learn about each of the individuals making this and why they're doing it is really, truly fascinating. It's really a great film, completely overlooked lately, and definitely worth discovering. At Cannes last year was The Other Side by Italian filmmaker Roberto Minervini, guy I'm otherwise not familiar with. This played in the Uncertain Regard section. The movie is The Other Side. This is also out from Film Movement. This is basically a very, very terrifying, ugly look at the underbelly of fringe society in America, and it is worth looking at. It is a fascinating, troubling, disturbing, and yet provocative film on many, many levels. We've also got Caetano Godardo's The Moving Creatures, which is this is part of the Brazilian film series Year One. It is, Brazil has not gotten a great rap of late during the Rio Games. They haven't exactly sort of, it's been relatively event-free apart from that.
They robbed Ryan Lochte.
I know, isn't that amazing?
Ryan Lochte got robbed.
That's such an embarrassment to Ryan Lochte. But in any case, Brazil has a film industry. People may not know that. By the way, the Brazilian film industry lost a giant this year. You realize that Hector Babenco passed.
I know.
Isn't that sad?
He's a Spider-Woman.
I know. So sad. I'm gonna take another bite here.
That's melted now.
Not yet. Still good. Still loving it.
Would you like more? I'm trying to give it away.
Yeah, I'd love more.
Really?
Yeah, why not? Anyway, The Moving Creatures. Lovely Brazilian film.
Bad.
Not bad.
You're not even done with that.
I know.
When you're done
I'm
with
gonna
that,
finish
if
it.
you want more, I'll give you more.
Okay, very good.
Take some home if you want, for all I care. Try to get rid of it.
Sure, why not? Anyway, this is basically a look at the experiences of three different women, three very, very different kinds of mothers, and the experiences that their lives inflict upon them. It's really a beautifully acted film, just a great showpiece for the actresses. Sweet Bean, wonderful movie. This is by Naomi Kawase, who normally I don't particularly like as a director, but this is actually a really sweet film about a guy who runs a kind of a little kiosk where he sells bean curd, and this old lady comes and wants a job there, and her recipe, her ancient family recipe for bean curd is, better than his, and it forges this amazing multi-generational relationship, and, you learn about her life and his life, and it's just one of those really, really sweet family dramas, intimate human dramas that the Japanese don't often do, but which they do in this case. And so Naomi Kawase really kind of hit a great one out of the park in that case. And then the last two films, Parched, which was the audience winner at the Indian Film Festival here in Los Angeles. This is by Lena Yadav, and this is from Wolf. And this is basically about four women and their experiences in very, very different family situations. This was also at the Toronto Film Festival and a number of other festivals. Very moving, very powerful film. And then, similar in some respects, is the Pakistani film Dukhtar, which means daughter. This is by Afia Serena Nathaniel. And this is kind of what you would expect in a remote region of Pakistan. Looks at the experiences of women and several generations of women and the ordeals that they go through because of various traditional situations that are inflicted upon them. I won't give any other details, but if that interests you, you will definitely love this movie. It is on Blu-ray. It is beautifully transferred. It was submitted as Pakistan's consideration, their official Oscar submission for the 87th Academy Awards. Was not accepted, but it probably could have easily made the short list in a lesser year. It's a powerful film, and that is called Dukhtar, Dukhtar.
Yeah, no one cares because I'm looking at key lime pie recipes, key lime pie ice cream recipes.
Yep.
And there are a couple.
Do it.
Don't
Don't tell me about them. Just do it.
I don't know which one I should do because
if there's one that has little pieces of graham cracker crust in it, that's the one you're doing.
Actually, a lot of them require that you crush some graham crackers.
Oh yeah, do it.
I don't know which one to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're eating ice cream. I'm looking at recipes for ice cream on Google. We are not talking about Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
However, we can talk about Smoke on the Water. Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple, live at the NEC. I was never a huge Deep Purple fan, except for the hits. Hush is actually, I have to say that Hush is a great song, very dramatic stuff. This is them in 2002, past their prime, but still young enough to rock and not be embarrassed by it. I like that the track listing for this Blu-ray. Two of the tracks are keyboard solo and guitar solo. I don't see drum solo, though. There's always the drum solo.
That's the great thing about music in the 70s. You could do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just an 8-minute drum solo. Anyway, so this is good stuff. Again, it's recent enough where it looks good. 16:9, digital, 2002, but yet they're not so old that they're like, wheezy.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of not so old, they're wheezy. When we saw, what's his name, Jeff Beck, Steven Tyler showed up. Sang a song.
Right on.
Steven Tyler, old.
I know, right?
Kiss Rocks Vegas. Kiss, I don't know what to say about them anymore. I mean, I guess they're cool, but I just feel like they've been around for so long, and they haven't had a good song in 25 years. And, they give a great live performance. They're back using the makeup. This particular Blu-ray and CD was shot in Vegas in 2014. A lot of great songs, Detroit Rock City and Rock and Roll All Night, and all the ones that War Machine, all the ones that you're used to hearing. So if you like Kiss, go for it. But Gene, I used to see Gene Simmons in the Gelsons in Century City.
Yeah.
And he just looks like he's just like a doddering old man with jet black hair.
Yeah.
Because he's Gene Simmons.
But Paul Stanley still looks like he's about 25.
I saw Paul Stanley at the Gelsons in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
I guess they love Gelsons.
Yeah.
So
anyway, who doesn't?
Who doesn't love Gelsons?
Who doesn't?
Anyway,
I see John Goodman at Gelsons.
Is he thin?
He is. He's really like his shirt. His clothes are hanging on him.
I have to say it's going to be a good year for him. 10 Cloverfield Lane was terrific, and he's got another couple movies coming out.
He does.
I'm telling you, he's the man.
Yeah.
Kiss rocks Vegas, Nevada. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, do you want more of that ice cream?
Sure.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
Rock on. As long as we're on the subject of Kiss in Vegas, sure. Kiss in Vegas. That just sounds like the greatest combination of all time. We got some classical music stuff from Naxos. Rossini's La Gazzetta. Giacchino Rossini's La Gazzetta. I'm not crazy about a lot of opera, especially Rossini, but why not? It's perfectly fine. It held me for about an hour and a half, and it's considerably longer than that, but that works. And then we also have Handel's Saul. This is part of the Opus Arte line. This is with the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment and the Glyndebourne Chorus. Pretty intense stuff. I'm not enormously familiar with the Glyndebourne Chorus, but it's good. And Handel is always great. So this is worth watching. It's really kind of a trip, kind of strange and intense and weird. And then we also have Mozart's Oh boy, this is also the Glyndebourne Chorus and the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment. I'm going to try to pronounce this. I'm half German. I'm going to screw it up. I know I am. Die Entführung aus dem Serail, or Serail. I don't know what it means. But anyway, this is Mozart. Mozart's always great. The music's great. Forget about the plot. Don't really know what it's about. Don't care. It's just great music. Herbert von Karajan, Maestro for the Screen. This is a film by Georg Wubold on Blu-ray, and this is all about Herbert von Karajan and the Berlin Philharmonic rehearsing and performing Bach, and it is absolutely extraordinary. Von Karajan, very controversial figure, but in my opinion, the greatest conductor of the modern age. Really extraordinary, fascinating film. Gives you amazing insight into the operation of an orchestra and what it means to be a conductor. The great Daniel Barenboim, getting a little old in the tooth, but still kicks it out, working with the Staatskapelle Berlin to do Mahler's Symphony No. 9, which is just epic.
Wait, no one gives a crap. Just say it quickly.
You also get the Mahler project on here as a bonus, and it's just it's great.
I'm going to buy it now. Wait, great.
You like Mahler, you like Barenboim, you're gonna love it.
No, we like superheroes and we like Criterion.
And then lastly, the wonderful Sir Andras Schiff, extraordinary pianist, sits down for a trio of great performances: Mozart, Schubert, and Beethoven. Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 1 in C major is the real killer here.
Your name is Major too.
Absolutely wonderful stuff. That is on Blu-ray as well. And now we're into TV. Starting with a box set. We've talked about the Complete Wonder Years before, which came in the big locker. If you always thought that was too obnoxious and you said, I want the Complete Wonder Years, but I don't want a giant tin locker that I can't really put on the shelf, they heard your cries. And they've now released the Wonder Years The Complete Series in a just regular, plain, old, unbelievable, boring boxed set, which will fit much more easily on the shelf. This contains all of the individual season sets as they were released individually. Now they're just thrown together in a box set, and you can tell because seasons 1, 2, and 3 have the Star Vista logo on them, and seasons 4, 5, and 6 have the Time Life logo on them, so they didn't actually conform any of that for the sake of making it look a little more consistent on the shelf. But it's fine. It's all the same stuff. Hasn't changed any. So the Wonder Years is out there in a more accessible box set. Still a lovely show. A little bit dated, but still a lovely show.
See, this key lime one I don't like because the guy says, I searched everywhere for a recipe like this on the net. Lots of looking, but no success. So here's one I made up myself. I don't want one that some dude on All Recipes made up himself.
Well, that's what everything is on All Recipes.
Although this one has one package of lime flavored Jello mix.
Yeah, all right. Tell us about Castle.
It's kind of interesting. Castle. This thing's coming in for a landing. Castle.
By the way, a lot of television this week because this is what happens in August, right? All the new network shows start up in September, so everybody releases the previous season on Blu-ray or on DVD to kind of ramp you up, to catch you up, to get the juices flowing.
Well,
so this week and next week is going to be lots of big time TV stuff.
Well, not this because this is the final season.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Castle. This thing got canceled in a very strange way. It was kind of a bubble show on ABC, and then they wound up it was a very public firing. They fired Stanek Katic, who was one of the stars of the show. Nathan Fillion, of course, is the other one. Nathan Fillion has a real cult following thanks to whatever it's Firefly, whatever it's called, and so. What's her name winds up getting fired, and they just decided to kill the show. So 8 seasons,
Weird.
And now it's over in a really strange way that was precipitated by a firing of one of the stars of the show. And now it's over. So if you really love the show, and I don't know why you would, you can check out the 8th and final season of Castle on DVD.
Gnarly.
And you know what? It's not that the show wasn't doing that well. It's just that the firing caught everyone by surprise, and that's it.
Yeah,
now it's over.
Well, so I got to say, man, all the different twists on Sherlock Holmes that everybody's going for, it keeps getting tougher and tougher. I thought Elementary had something that it was able to work with, and 4th season of Elementary, it's not really working anymore. Johnny Lee Miller's, modern hipster Sherlock Holmes, and then the whole angle with, Lucy Liu playing Watson.
Cool it seemed cool for like a minute and a half, and then you're like...
A minute and a half. After 4 seasons of this, you're like, why am I watching this? What is the point of this anymore? Does this go anywhere? And then, as I'm thinking that, I read that they've announced now a comedy version of Sherlock Holmes with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly playing Holmes and Yo-Yo. I'm sorry, Holmes and Watson.
Sweet.
What? Like, what? I mean, I'm not going to say never, but those two together are not always a home run.
No.
Like, that's really a hit and miss pairing. Sometimes they're incredibly funny, and sometimes it's two guys just improvising until they guilt the audience into laughing at something that's not funny.
But it is cool.
And I got to be honest, that sounds like a great pitch that about 3 seconds after you come out of your pitch hangover, you think, oh my gosh, what have I done? What did I just greenlight?
It'll be like Land of the Lost.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's not.
No.
Anyway, NCIS. Look, it's season 750,000 of NCIS for Tom Harmon. What's his name? Mark Harmon. The most handsome man in the history of television.
He's married to Pam Dauber.
He was a quarterback at UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Is he pretty much? Don't you think that at this point he is the most successful actor to also be a college superstar quarterback? I mean, who else? Like O.J. Simpson at the time, but not anymore. Like who?
I don't know.
Who was like a top name college star, and they just gave it all up, decided to be an actor. Like Will Ferrell, Tom Cruise, Will Smith.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
Mark Harmon.
Jim Brown.
This guy started on 13 seasons of this crap.
Okay, fine, sure, why not? All right.
NCIS season 13. No, seriously, who are you people to buy this?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's audio commentary, some deleted scenes, and otherwise, no one cares. I mean, who are we kidding?
Yeah, I know. So we got a little DC-age here. DC's taken a lot of lumps lately, but I got to be honest. Gotham, it's not working for me. Second season of Gotham, I got to be honest, not working. They've had this started off really interestingly, showing us, the 975th death of, Bruce Wayne's parents, which we've all seen now so many times. The pearls in slow motion hitting the pavement half a dozen times, the Tim Burton way, and the
Even Batman, Superman had it, but
Oh,
at least
my
they got it
gosh.
over with in the opening credits.
Oh
and
my
thank
gosh,
you for that.
it's just been endless, and we got that in the first season of Gotham as well. And the second season, you're like, okay, start paying some stuff off. I want to start, I want to see this start becoming and they're not really. It's just not working, man. It just feels like they're afraid to take that extra step and really start paying some stuff off. They just kind of want to keep the tease going, and it feels lame. So, I kind of want to see young Bruce Wayne evolve more. This thing's got to speed up a little bit. It's not really. It's not paying off. It's not scratching the itch, as it were. You get a few extras. About a little close to 90 minutes worth of featurettes, which isn't fantastic. There's some stuff from Comic-Con, and it's just the usual. It's a lot of it, but nothing really very dense. And that's a Blu-ray that also comes with Ultraviolet. Yeah, it's your ice cream. It's freezing my vocal cords.
My two icy ice cream that you're the only one who likes.
Yes, and then also from DC, the complete first season of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Which continues on the CW. This got a little bit clunky in its first season. But it's all part of the Greg Berlanti thing that's going on right now. And Berlanti, the stuff that Berlanti actually is deeply involved with, from Arrow to Flash to Supergirl, Legends Tomorrow, I think all that stuff largely works. I think I've said this before, flush. Just give that whole big screen thing, the whole Zack Snyder thing, give it an enema. Get rid of the, Zack Snyder and his whole chiseled, posing, shiny and wet look. Get rid of all that stuff and just bring Berlanti in and tell us some stories and let him have some fun with it.
You know what? I think that they should hand it all to Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
He's already directed an Oscar-winning Best Picture.
Yeah, but
the guy can direct. He has his sensibility seems to be pretty grown up at this point, which is surprising to everybody. He's got a big screen sensibility. He has the chops. He has the pedigree now. I think they should just give it to him. Forget Zack Snyder, guys.
Well, anyway, if you don't know what Legends of Tomorrow is, it's basically a collection of good guys and bad guys who have to take out a particular villain, and there's a lot of juggling of individuals here, and some of them are borrowed from like Wentworth Miller shows up from playing Captain Cold from The Flash. Along with Dominic Purcell, who was also in those same episodes, and there's some other stuff here. The other Victor Garber from The Flash. They all kind of show up and they do a few interesting things, and Hawkgirl shows up and Firestorm, and it's a very clever sidestep from the other shows. It doesn't come out of the gate quite as effectively as the other shows did, but I think they go into some interesting places, and I think it sets up a second season really nicely, and I'm looking forward to what they do with it. So that also is on Blu-ray with Ultraviolet.
One of these recipes has half a cup of key lime juice.
Mark, nobody cares.
The other has...
That's your line.
That's when you talk about classical music. Mm-hmm. One has half a cup of key lime juice. The other has a third of a cup of key lime juice.
Okay.
I'd rather have the one that has half a cup, right?
Sure.
Key lime juice. Anyway, Scandal. I'm done watching the show. I don't care anymore. It was fantastic the first couple seasons. You've really got to respect Shonda Rhimes just kind of taking over ABC. It was like it's basically her network at this point, which is amazing. Good on her. But Scandal, I feel like it's becoming too soap opera-y now, and it's lost a little bit of the juice. It's not new and fresh and surprising anymore, but people still like it. And this fifth season DVD has extended episodes, which is always kind of nice, and bloopers, and I like it because you know what? Anything that employs Joe Morton, I like. Because Joe Morton's cool. He was in Terminator too.
Maybe a little too nutty. The ice cream.
Nutty? To me, that's all that's giving it any flavor.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
Well, sometimes you feel like a nut.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't. If anyone on our show actually knows what that means, that means you're of a certain age. Continuing the DC thing, Supergirl, complete first season. I have to say, there were a few things about Supergirl that I was not completely on board with when it started. It seemed to iron out the wrinkles as it went along. Now, I'm totally down with the idea of a black Jimmy Olsen. No problem there. Chris Rock was going to be Jimmy Olsen once. I thought that was cool. What I'm not really down with is Jimmy Olsen being an incredibly hunky stud. That's kind of weird.
It's a CW. Everybody in the CW is a hunky stud.
Yeah, but the thing is,
The girls are hunky studs.
if Jimmy Olsen is a hunky stud, then you suddenly set a really high bar for Superman. And the guy who's playing Superman now in this next season is lame. It's like, okay, you are not cool. Jimmy Olsen, cooler than you. And that's a problem.
When they released that shot of Superman in the costume,
Yeah.
you thought, oh my God, this is like the worst Superman ever.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's terrible.
He looks terrible.
I know, it's not good. But still, I like the whole. Again, I'm very much a defender of what Berlanti's been doing, and I think this season kind of gets itself together by the end. I love her. I think she is absolutely great. She's just terrific. And I'm one of the people who like the Supergirl movie, the original movie with Helen Slater.
Well, you're an idiot.
Why? What's wrong with that?
It was with Faye Dunaway vamping it up.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, I really thoroughly enjoy this show. Once it gets its act together at the end, this also comes with a bunch of extras that include the Comic-Con panel and unaired scenes and gag reel and featurettes and all the usual stuff. Again, also Blu-ray and Ultraviolet, so you can really DC it up on Ultraviolet with all these shows.
Maybe I'll try this one.
Yeah, why not?
I'll try this one.
Well, as long as you're still looking at recipes. Superstore Season 1... which continues this fall on NBC. At a certain point, it feels like, okay, well, let's see. We've done, now that we're doing the whole single camera sitcom thing, we've done, in a hospital, and we've done it in a community center and Parks and Rec, and let's see, what else can we do? I know, let's just have a bunch of people waxing wacky in a superstore, a Costco, Walmart-y thing. It's like The Office taken down a notch. The people The Office deliver their paper to, that's what this is about. It's more the same kind of characterizations. I don't think it's funny. I'm sorry. Sorry, NBC. Sorry, Universal. I really, really don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of a waste of some very talented people. Anyway, Season 1 was truncated, 11 episodes, and more of this is coming. A lot of people really like this show. They seem to enjoy it in a way that I clearly cannot. So take my criticisms with a grain of salt. Obviously, I'm not connecting with this kind of show.
I'm noticing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Speaking of not connecting with this kind of a show, Wade,
yeah.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Can I say that I'm the only person who is not into The Walking Dead?
Sure.
And I'm all about the zombies. I want zombies.
I know.
I love my zombies. I do. I don't love my vampires. I'm not going to love The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Did you see the Korean film Train to Busan?
I did not.
It's a zombie movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically World War Z meets Snowpiercer.
I like World War. Oh, I love Snowpiercer.
It's zombies on a train.
Really?
That is exactly what it is.
Is that theatrical or is it?
It's still playing in Koreatown. I had to review it for radio a few weeks ago.
It's good.
It is really good. It started off, and I was watching it, and it was really interesting. It's a father and a son, right? And the father's trying to get the son back on the train to see his mom, and there's a whole family thing going on that's really and I didn't know what it was about. And then next thing I'm like, oh no, did I see something in the back? Wait a minute, what's going? Oh no, it's zombies, and then it's people foaming at the mouth and biting, and it's all over. And I was ready to check out. And then it got really interesting.
Yeah.
The characters were good, and I was in with it. And of course, there's a whole political subtext: North Korea, South Korea. You can read all that stuff into it. So yeah, Train to Busan. Check it out.
By the way, you hear who might be directing World War Z 2?
Yes, I did. Yes.
David Fincher.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm down.
Oh,
first of all, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But anyway.
Can you imagine David Fincher directing like just this badass balls to the wall action film? Come on.
I'm not sure it's a good marriage, but carry on.
You know what? I have a feeling it's better on paper than it's going to be in practice.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like World War Z. I thought it was cool. I did. I like World War Z. I love my zombies. Walking Dead, however, too much talking, not enough zombies. I need more zombies. I don't care about what Nicholas is doing and what Rick is doing. I want zombies. Carol, I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah.
I want more zombies. But, this thing just keeps going. And I like the fact that they employ female directors on this show, which is something that more shows should do. I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, so this show, people love the show. The problem is that to me, zombies are things that like run around and bite people, and they get me all excited. But there's like so much character on this show that I'm like the last person to say this, but there's too much character, none of zombies. I need people being eaten. I need people eating other people.
Yeah.
So There you go. You'll never hear me say this again, but too much character and story, not enough zombies.
A little bit of that same problem afflicts Narcos, which a lot of people love. Narcos is an acclaimed show. It's gotten Golden Globe nominations and the whole deal. This is season 1 of Narcos, which turns Pablo Escobar, the Colombian drug maven, kingpin, whatever you want to call him. Turns him into a TV character, which is a little weird. Look, it's a very intense show. It's well researched. It's tough to know where fiction leaves off and facts begin, and vice versa. Some great performances. Wagner Moura as Escobar is terrific. The DEA agents who have to make it their mission to get rid of him, Boyd Holbrook and Pedro Pascal, also very good. However, it still feels a little bit forced to me. It still feels like too much ripped from the headlines, and we're going to take a thin skeleton of real events and kind of put a veneer of drama on top of it. It just doesn't. It kind of loses me at a certain point. But I'll give him credit for trying. We'll see where it goes in the second season. I don't know how you keep this thing going for more than 3, maybe 4 seasons tops. I just don't. It just feels like you should be wrapping this out after 8 episodes, kind of like Stranger Things. Anyway,
I like Stranger Things, by the way.
Narcos season 1 on Blu-ray with Ultraviolet, like they all have.
I'm getting through Stranger Things. It's good.
It's great. It's terrific.
Winona Ryder.
Loving
She's
it.
back.
She's back.
Speaking of things that are back, Roots. Now, Roots, I have to say that this is all very tastefully done and very wonderful. But
was it needed?
Here's the problem. The problem is there's going to be a moment when you're like, okay, a slavery story won Best Picture.
Yeah.
Right?
And another one, and aside from the whole, Nate Parker now with Birth of a Nation was going to be the film to beat this year, right? I mean,
it may not be.
And now suddenly that whole college rape thing has resurfaced, and he's dealing with it, I think, in a very mature way. Again, it was like 17 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was.
And he was acquitted.
And he was acquitted. So, but nonetheless, the court of public opinion can be cruel and can certainly reach a different verdict from the court of law. And so it remains to be seen what happens there. Nonetheless, there's also Underground, which is, a successful show on television. And, the slavery thing, we had Django. It's getting to a point where I think white actors, black actors, all actors and all audiences are getting a little fatigued of the idea that, like, now the rite of passage for every black actor in Hollywood and every black filmmaker is to make a slave movie. I think we need to move past that. I really do.
Well, it's funny because
I'm not going to fault anything. Like, I think this is a very well done remake of Roots, but is it necessary? I'm not sure.
Well, will it have the impact that the original had? I mean,
no,
of course not, because the original was it's
like Ben-Hur.
The original was in a 3-network universe.
Yeah.
And we had never seen anything
We'd
like it.
never seen it before. It was a story that had not been told before. Yeah,
now it's been told a million different ways. What's funny is that nobody has this issue with Holocaust movies. There's always another Holocaust film. But somehow with the films about slavery, although obviously it's America's original sin and all that sort of stuff, there's something about it that it's Oscar bait. It's there to score easy points by making me feel guilty because it is part of my DNA just because I'm an American. But the Holocaust never gets that kind of a rap. Holocaust films, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe because slavery is so not uniquely, but let's just say American, whereas the Holocaust really is only because we joined the war did the Holocaust become American. Did the Holocaust become an American problem? Because we joined the war.
Right.
Whereas slavery was our original sin. So there's always something there that's going to play on my guilt.
Yes.
That I feel like is becoming a little too easy.
I agree.
But that being said, I mean, Roots it's terrifically well done.
No, it's really well done.
It's very emotional and very engrossing, and
it's on Blu-ray and Ultraviolet, like everything else this week.
Great performances, and it's really top notch filmmaking. But I don't know that I wanted to see this now.
So the show on Fox called Lucifer, which starts a new season soon. This is the first season is now on DVD, not on Blu-ray. I don't really get it. Have you watched any of this?
Lucifer?
Yeah, you watched this? Okay, so it's like basically this is Wings of Desire except with the other guy.
Oh, I love Wings of Desire.
And done like it would be a CW show. So Satan, aka Lucifer Morningstar, wink wink nudge nudge,
Is his name Louis Cypher?
No, it's not. So he comes to L.A. and hey, man, it is a cool place. But then he starts having experiences and relationships and friends, and then begins to wonder, who am I? Am I really the Lord? It's not. It's not. It's weird. It's very forced, and it thinks it's deep, but it's really not very deep. It's just kind of trying to be clever in ways that it has no business even dreaming of. But maybe a second season will right this ship. But it just feels like an idea in search of a script somewhere, anywhere. It's really, really odd.
Now, speaking of really odd, there's Ash versus the Evil Dead. Now, I have to say that
I don't know why this is a show, but
Sam Raimi. He had a thing. He was Spider-Man. He was going to do all sorts of great movies. Then he sort of fell off the earth. Bruce Campbell, you can see that he'll do whatever the hell. This is a thing he did 30 years ago, and he's still cashing in on it. And I guess God love him.
Yeah.
But I don't know that the world needed an Evil Dead TV show. But this thing is pretty funny. It's on Starz. I thought that the first season was funny, really disgusting, kind of outrageous, and I got a kick out of it. I really did not think I would. And Lucy Lawless, who I have no particular love for, she's fine in it. I liked her. And, so I have to say that Ash versus Evil Dead really surprised me. I got to say, it's good stuff.
Well, there you go.
And it's the next season's coming up in October. There's audio commentary on all the episodes. Some are better than others. And a couple of featurettes that you'll just watch once and never watch again. But I have to say that I thought this thing was surprisingly kind of cool. Ash versus the Evil Dead.
So, Travel Detective, interesting show.
Are we still talking about TV?
Yeah,
we
got
nothing else.
It's heaps of television this week. We got to burn through it, man.
We're not burning through it. We're slowly wading through it.
Okay, so Travel Detective Season 3 with Peter Greenberg, documentary show from PBS, which where Greenberg goes into, he travels around the world and he finds interesting little tidbits to tell you that'll make you interested to go and visit those places. That's more than just, isn't this a lovely hotel and isn't this a pretty beach? He tells you fascinating stories about, ghosts on cruise ships and things happening in parts of the world that might make them inhospitable to travel. So go there anyway, just to show that you can take it there. And places where the legal system might not be your best friend. And, it's meant to kind of scare you into going places, if that makes any sense. Also, second season of Halt and Catch Fire on AMC. Another show I don't really get. Don't quite get it at all. Have you watched this?
I have not. That's why you're talking about it, not me.
Yeah, I know some people that really, really love this. And they said, you got to watch Halt and Catch Fire. And I watched it, and I watched like 2 episodes. I just don't get it. But it's it's just too millennial and it's too tech, and it's like what's the nerd show?
Silicon Valley?
No, the other nerd show. With
Silicon Valley?
No, the geek and nerd show.
Silicon Valley?
No, the you know which one I'm talking about.
Know
With the MIT guys, the 3-camera
Big
thing.
Bang Theory?
Yeah, that thing. It's like Big Bang Theory without jokes.
I'd rather have my eyes gouged out than watch Big Bang Theory.
It's like the Big Bang Theory is.
Bazunga. What? Honestly, Bazinga? That's like the funniest thing that they came up with that's on a T-shirt. Bazinga.
Yeah,
Why is that funny?
I don't know. It's not.
Bazinga. God,
anyway.
So terrible.
Anyway, this is all kind of, techie and new and millennial. It's not really my thing.
The Strain. Season 2.
You remember when this was a billboard and people made them take it down because it was too disgusting?
It was all phallic and disgusting. This is Season 2 of The Strain, and, in this season, the virus has become an epidemic, and they're trying to stop it. Corey Stoll's in this. Corey Stoll, of course, from the thing with the president guy.
Yeah. Sure. Why not?
The thing with the president guy.
Yeah.
But I did not watch the entire season, but I did watch much of this, skim through it, and I kind of liked it actually. You know what?
Sure.
Some of the characters and story strands are just sort of like stretching out the season. What's the guy Zach? I don't really care about Zach. I'm kind of like The Walking Dead. I want to see just like monsters and people running around in hazmat suits trying to like stop the end of the world. That's all I want.
Are you enjoying all the stuff in Stranger Things? All the references to Alien and to E.T. and Explorers and Goonies and everything else?
I think that there's a website that lists them all.
Well, I guarantee you they didn't get them all. There are some mashups on YouTube that claim to get most of them, and I was pulling. I'm like, okay, you missed the Dead Zone, you missed Altered States, you missed Needful Things. There's a lot that they don't get, so I don't think they're going to get them all. I think there are at least 20 or 30 movies that are all referenced in there. Anyway.
All right, so is it me?
Yeah, carry on.
All right, so the producers of NCIS, they threw a dart at a map of the United States, and it landed on New Orleans. And so they decided to do a show called NCIS New Orleans.
Oh, who knows why? Because it's cheap to shoot there.
And it's in the South, and maybe they thought that the numbers were a little low in the South. Hey, let's do a show in New Orleans. We'll shore up our numbers in the South. Yeah, it didn't work. This is with the ageless Scott Bakula. And this thing's a piece of crap. I skimmed 5 episodes, if that, and it just seemed ridiculous. Anyway, no one cares.
Yeah, no, whatever.
Code Black, season 1, Code Black. You know what? I didn't mind this show because I love Luis Guzman. Even if Luis Guzman is being serious, don't
He's
care.
the best.
I don't care.
I know.
I love Luis Guzman.
He's great.
Put it out there. Yeah, it's a medical drama. There was a documentary called Code Black, and it's kind of based on the documentary, and it's all about all the chaos that goes on in this hospital. And so at this point, there's been so many of these sorts of shows that you can almost direct these things and write these things in your sleep because there's been so many that's come before it. So it becomes a sense of visually, I know what I'm going to see, but and even story-wise, I know what I'm going to see. But if you can give me interesting characters, give me something new on the character front, maybe I'll stick around. And this one doesn't really do that. But what gets me through is kind of the cast, because I think the cast is totally worth checking out. Because again, you have Luis Guzman and you have Marcia Gay Harden. Come on, Oscar winner, can't beat that. So really, the cast is the only thing that gets you through Code Black season 1.
The Affair season 2 from Showtime. This is a good show. It transcends that kind of. It wants to sort of jump into the same swamp as shows like Scandal. Murder, illicit affairs, and infidelity, and sexy people, and who's doing what with whom, and who's responsible for what, and it kind of tries to be like a seedier, more sultry Agatha Christie type thing. But you know what? 12 episodes. They really take their time. They build They build the characters. They build the narrative. They do a good job. And it's very interesting. This is season 2 continues to be very, very interesting. Great performances, I got to say. Dominic West, fantastic. Joshua Jackson's very, very good. Always love seeing Maura Tierney do good work. She gets better and better. So this is a cool show. Keeps doing cool. The Affair season 2. And speaking of cool shows, might also want to make mention that The Rockford Files is out again, courtesy of Mill Creek.
Oh.
Seasons 1 and 2 in
love
very.
The Rockford Files.
Isn't it the best? You know what? I watched the pilot with so much glee, and I had totally forgotten that the pilot of The Rockford Files. Do you remember the pilot? You ever see the pilot?
At the time.
First of all, a young woman hires Jim Rockford. Remember, Jim Rockford was like in prison. You know who that young woman was who hires Jim Rockford in the pilot? Lindsay Wagner, pre-bionic woman. You know who plays her really, really troubled brother, looking all scraggly, all grown
Wagner?
up? Billy Mummy. Come
Is
on.
it Billy Mooney?
Billy Mooney, Mummy, whatever. Billy Mooney. Lindsay Wagner, Billy Mooney. It's like a TV nerd, sci-fi nerd's dream come true. That show, that pilot has me hooked.
You are like 1/8. You are 1/8 closer to an episode of Battle of the Network Stars.
There you go.
With Lindsay Wagner
Isn't that
and
true?
Billy Mooney.
Awesome, so awesome.
You know what's great about The Tunnel?
What's great about The Tunnel?
So The Tunnel is it's actually not a bad show. It's taken on a new meaning. It's about this British detective and this French detective. And the issue is that there's a French politician is found murdered right on the border there between the UK and France.
Ah, yeah.
So detectives from both sides team up to try to solve the murder. What's funny is that with Brexit, now British detective, his passport will not work to get him into France. What's he going to do? It's a good thing they did the show now.
Right.
Because now we'd have to get his passport out. Yeah. Add a whole bunch of exposition. He can't find his passport. What's going to happen with Brexit? It's unbelievable. So anyway, so this thing is The Tunnel. I knew nothing of this thing, and it's like a PBS thing, and it's. I was very surprised that it is well directed, and it's got a lot of cool cat and mouse stuff going on. And I liked it. It's it's got a lot of plot twists. Some of them are less believable than others, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Total surprise. The Tunnel, complete first season, now on The Ray That Is Blue.
Oh, yes.
Are we doing movies anytime soon?
Yeah.
Vampire Diaries, the complete 7th season. So what happens is there's vampires, and they're all really hot because they're on the CW. And this is just the douchiest show in the world. Who watches this crap? Come on, people. What's wrong with you?
I'm not going to argue with you. Not going to argue with you. All right, Mark, we got a couple of movies.
Remember when the CW did Beauty and the Beast? And the other reason why he was a beast was he had like a scar on his thumb or something. He had like a scar on his thumb. He was the beast. It's the worst.
It's fantastic. So, Mark, we got a few movies. Tell us why The Huntsman, Winter's War, prequel to Snow White and the Huntsman, needs to be on 4K Ultra HD. Please tell us why we must see this godforsaken, horrible prequel on 4K Ultra HD.
This thing does not need to be on 1K. Okay, there's not even there's no K that is lame enough for this horrible movie. This seemed like one of those films where I guess everybody got a nice paycheck, and they thought the international numbers were good enough where people would go see it everywhere but the United States. It's got a good cast. Yeah. I mean, my future ex-wife Jessica Chastain is in this, and Emily Blunt is in this, and Charlize Theron, and one of those Hemsworth kids. I can't keep track of them. The problem is that the movie's terrible, and it's just campy and confusing, and I just had no enthusiasm. This film is to me, this film is totally dead on arrival. I just don't get it. Do not get The Huntsman, Winter's War.
Which is on 4K and Blu-ray and 3D, and they'll come and perform it live in your living room if you beg them to.
Oh, really? Jessica Chastain will come to my living room?
Well, in a manner of speaking. At least her understudy.
I love her.
Okay, from Monarch, we have a movie called Kids vs. Monsters with Malcolm McDowell and Armand Assante and Lance Henriksen. Woo, yeah! You know what? The problem here is we already have a movie with Kids vs. Monsters, and it's called Stranger Things. And it's really awesome.
Don't give it away. I don't know if there's monsters.
That you know that within like 6 seconds. It's not hard to figure out. In any case, and that just makes... I mean, this is silly and campy. This is not obviously even in the same realm. I mean, this is just people... like, Lance Henriksen is ridiculous in this thing. And Malcolm McDowell is just so cheesing it up. This means to be kind of fun. It means to be a little bit like the Monster Squad, the old, Shane Black deal, Monster Squad.
Yeah.
But it isn't. It's just kind of, it's cute and silly and ridiculous and very, very low budget, strictly for kind of genre fans. But as long as we're on the subject of Shane Black, Mark, most underrated movie of the year, my pick of the week, Nice Guys.
This thing was...
This movie, it's so mishandled.
It was a heartbreaker because all we do is complain about how the studios never make $40 million adult fun comedies. And here's one, no one saw it.
It's great. This movie is great. This is so much fun. It's unbelievable. If our listeners do nothing else this week, if you do nothing else,
then clear your throat.
Man, the nuts from your ice cream are still
really.
They're bringing me to tears.
Really,
not in a good way.
Wow.
The Nice Guys. If you do nothing else this week, get the Blu-ray DVD and Ultraviolet combo with The Nice Guys and watch it and love it. It is amazing. It is wonderful. Shane Black had some capital after doing the last Iron Man, and man, he just poured it all into this movie, which is meant to be a franchise. I don't know if they will. I don't know if we get another one.
It's dead.
It's so good. I want to see this. I want to see them just make more and more movies.
They were a
going.
terrific pair. They paired. And Ryan Gosling showed a flair for
so much
that low comedy that I thought he was terrific.
Basically, it takes place in the 1970s. A couple of guys. One's a private eye. The other guy's kind of, sort of a private eye. He's like a private beat people up eye. And they reluctantly become mismatched buddies in order to figure out what happened to this young girl who's disappeared. And there are all kinds of great misdirection in here. That you even have an extended sequence at the mansion of a porn producer, which is just an absolutely great sequence. It is fun. It is funny. It is violent and profane. And it is just all those great things that action films were in the 1980s, and I just loved every second of this thing. Cast and crew stuff on here, great featurette stuff, just a lot of fun, really a lot of fun. You got to check out The Nice Guys. Shane Black at his very best, Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling, doesn't get better. DVD, Blu-ray, Ultraviolet, killer film.
I agree. I would see that on 4K.
Yep.
Maggie's Plan was directed by Rebecca Miller. Now, Rebecca Miller has done a bunch of films before, and I love the fact that Rebecca Miller is making films, but I feel like each one is like watching a filmed version of an issue of The New Yorker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just a little too much for me, but Maggie's Plan I thought was pretty fun. It's a romantic comedy with Greta Gerwig, who is she's in a weird spot now in her career. It's like, what does she do? Like, she does these little Noah Baumbach little indie things. Does she want to do something else? Doesn't have to be Jurassic Park, but does she want to do anything else other than these films? Don't know. Anyway, she plays a young woman, and she wants a kid, and she's about to go on her own to have the kid, and then she meets Ethan Hawke, and he's a professor and a novelist, and she falls in love. I thought this thing was. I was a little hesitant because of Rebecca Miller, who is talented, but I'm not. Her films don't really do it for me. But this thing is. It's cute. It's got a screwball soul to it. It's observational. I liked it.
It is Noah Baumbekian.
And I like him. I apologize for a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. It is Noah Baumbekian. It is not quite in the Noah Baumbach vein. Obviously, Greta Gerwig, has a lot to do with that. It's Woody Allen-esque in some respects, but I was okay with it.
I liked it. It's got a real zigzaggy plot that she keeps straight. The jokes are pretty cool, but she slows down for these interesting contemplative moments, and I liked it. It's really I wish Woody Allen would make this film instead of what he's been doing.
I agree.
Now wait a second. Now that movie there.
Yeah.
My girl loves this movie, and she's trying to get me to see it.
Yeah, and you didn't see it because they mishandled it in the release, and no one reviewed it well, and it's a very deserving film that deserves more. Talking about genius, by the way, which I will get to in a moment, but 2 films about geniuses. The first one is The Man Who Knew Infinity, which is on Blu-ray. Which features a wonderful performance by Dev Patel, who, unfortunately, those who don't know, Dev Patel is English and does not speak with an Indian accent, but like every role that he's given in movies, he has to speak with an Indian accent. So I hope that ends soon. But that being said, what he does here is wonderful. This takes place on the eve of World War I, and it is the story of Srinivasa Ramanujan, who was an...
If I see another movie about Srinivasa Ramanujan...
Yeah. Srinivasa Ramanujan was a brilliant Indian mathematician who came from nowhere and just kind of stormed into the world of mathematics in England, in upper education, Trinity College at England, and just blew everyone away with his brilliance in math. But he was so theoretical that a lot of his conclusions, he couldn't actually prove how he got there. He just knew the answer to the question without necessarily knowing how to get from point A to point B. And very often it was sort of a spiritual equation for him because he was a devout Hindu as well. Amazingly, almost every conclusion, every problem that he challenged has since been validated. And amazing figure, fascinating story. Jeremy Irons, of course, plays the Professor G.H. Hardy, who mentored him and fought for him to get his due at a time when, being Indian was not exactly a popular thing in the upper intelligentsia of English higher education. But written and directed by Matthew Brown, who has not done a lot before, but boy, he really deserves to because he did a bang-up job here. Really a terrific film, which would be a big Oscar nominee in any other year because Paramount would probably spend money or some other studio would spend money. And then, of course, the other film, which is not on Blu-ray, is Genius, which I thought was a terrific movie. Nobody else did. I don't really understand what the problem was. I thought this was really well put together. This is the story of the relationship between the famed book editor Max Perkins and the great novelist Thomas Wolfe. Thomas Wolfe played by Jude Law, Perkins played by Colin Firth, and Nicole Kidman and Laura Linney rounded out very, very nicely. It is a terrific film, beautifully rendered period. Great performances. Jude Law, people accused him of overacting a little bit as Wolfe, of being this larger-than-life, overly flamboyant lunatic. But that's the point, because that's who Thomas Wolfe was. And it just goes to show you how every genius needs an editor. And the question of the title is, who was the genius, Thomas Wolfe or Max Perkins? And it's probably both.
I think the answer really is Mark Kaiser.
Hey. So with that, we are done this week, and Mark, so send us boxes, emails, whatever else you want to send us. Gods@digigods.com.